What's up everybody? So on this channel we've already tried a couple of DrunkDeer keyboards, from the original A75 to the interesting compact version which is the G60 and the A75 Pro, which feels like a more premium version of the original A75 keyboard. However, recently DrunkDeer decided to make another keyboard, and this one is a rather interesting one because DrunkDeer decided to take the 75% factor of keyboards and decided to make it somewhat more compact and interesting. The build of the keyboard is pretty interesting, paired with these new switches that we're also going to talk about in this video. The DrunkDeer G75 is definitely an interesting keyboard that we're going to talk about in this review, and I genuinely think that it might be a game changer for playing Osu at night hours. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to DrunkDeer for sending an early copy of this keyboard, as well as disclose the fact that this keyboard review is not a sponsored review. I am allowed to say anything about this product, so the opinions that you hear in this video are those of my own. So in the box itself you will get a switch puller and a keycap puller, which is pretty much a 2-in-1 product. Now since I did get an early copy of the product, I still don't know if they're going to send this with every single keyboard in the future, but if they do, then that would be a very nice addition to the unboxing experience as well. On top of that, in the box itself you also get the USB-C cable, which comes with every DrunkDeer keyboard so far. I also got sent over their brand new Sakura silent switches that we're also going to talk about a bit more later, and of course in the box you get the keyboard itself. Now currently there's only two versions that you can get of the DrunkDeer G75, the white version of the keyboard with orange accents or the black version of the keyboard with red accents. As you can see in the video, I did manage to get the black version of the keyboard with the red accents, and honestly it does look pretty interesting to my eyes. The keyboard is in a plastic build, however on the top of the keyboard there is some type of interesting rubberish material that was put for like design purposes or something. I don't know why they decided to do this, but it does give it a unique look, if you know what I mean. On the back side of the keyboard you can see that on the plastic case it has the DrunkDeer logo in the middle, as well as the message that says unleash your potential. And as you can see, the keyboard does have kick feet, so you can adjust your keyboard at an angle if you want to. Like me for example, I do use the feet on the keyboard when I do play Osu, so yeah, they are pretty useful to have. Something interesting about the G75 compared to, let's say, the G60 is the fact that they decided to go with a screwless buckle structure compared to the previous screw structure that they had on their keyboards. Now I don't know if that will allow more people to customize their keyboards or not, you decide for yourself, but I did want to mention this because it does look pretty important. Now to enable all the rapid trigger settings and the other available settings that will be on this keyboard, you will have to use the DrunkDeer Antler software on your browser. This keyboard is a magnetic keyboard, which means that it also has rapid trigger on it, pretty much the same as the other keyboards from 0.1 all the way to 3.6 millimeters. With the browser software you can also change the brightness settings and also the RGB modes themselves, but the G75 itself will have new software features, like for example the new rapid trigger plus mode, or also known as release dual trigger. Essentially with one key you can toggle another key, and this could be very helpful for games like Counter-Strike or Valorant, where those micro movements are pretty important. But however, do not use these features for Osu, because like Quadrifol in his cheating situation, you will definitely get banned if you get caught using these. Even DrunkDeer themselves don't recommend using these features for Osu. Now currently these features are work in progress, but I do have a slight demo to show you as to how Rapid Trigger Plus does work, which you've probably already seen on screen right now. Now the keyboard itself will come with the default Raesha switches, the one that is pretty much on every single DrunkDeer keyboard. However, since this keyboard is currently only available on Kickstarter, then you are able to order this keyboard with a pack of the new Sakura silent switches. Now I am going to give you a sound test of previous DrunkDeer keyboards compared to the G75 with the Raesha switches to see for yourself which keyboard build you prefer the most. Now, I don't know if you heard it, but the G75, because of its build, does sound a bit more quiet compared to the other two keyboards that I showed you. And now we go into the part where we test out the brand new Sakura silence switches. And now when it comes to sound, I genuinely think that these switches are an absolute game changer for playing Osu at times when you just want to be a bit more quiet in your room, or just in general you just don't want to disturb other people. Here is a comparison of playing Osu with the regular Raesha switches that we've already had versus the Sakura silence switches. Brothering Christ, what the? Now keep in mind that when I play also I do tap a bit more harder compared to other players, and even so, even if you tap lightly, there's like barely any sound when you play with them at night. You can casually just chillax and do your shredding 3 AM session without disturbing absolutely anyone. As for the overall feel of the switches, they do feel pretty smooth, maybe even smoother than the previous ones, but just like Zone Luis explained it in this reply of a tweet right here, when you do bottom out the switch, at the bottom of the switch there is some sort of hard cushion that essentially removes the sound that the previous switches was making, essentially providing the silentness of the switch. They do also feel slightly less wobbly compared to the other ones, and I'm not kidding when I'm telling you that I've been looking for this type of switch for a pretty long time, especially for rapid trigger keyboards, since I do disturb some people when I do play the game. But overall I really like the look of the keyboard and also the feel of the new switches that they have. In general, I do think that these switches are a solution to the problem I've had for years so far. I'm finally able to play the game while not making that much noise. If you are someone like me who has had this problem for a pretty long amount of time and wants a rapid trigger keyboard as well, then I do suggest that you get this keyboard with the new Raesha silent switches. But also in general, if you just want to have a smooth typing experience and overall a really good keyboard that has some pretty interesting features for also and for other FPS games as well, then I do suggest that you buy this keyboard. It is currently available only on Kickstarter, but it will soon be available on the DrunkDeer website, and if you do want to buy yourself one from the DrunkDeer website, then be sure to use my affiliate link down in the description if you want to support the channel. Speaking of which, as of me recording this video, DrunkDeer currently has a sale on their website on pretty much all of their keyboards. All of their keyboards currently have a minimum of 50% off, but if you do use my code, which is STU, then you can get an additional $10 off your purchase. But yeah, if you want to see more keyboard reviews on this channel, then let me know down in the comments. Let me know what other rapid trigger keyboard you want me to try. But yeah, I am Stu, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.